And let's not forget the sticker shock of home prices themselves. For a while there, prices were climbing faster than a rocket. Bidding wars were the norm and people paid top dollar, sometimes way over asking price, just to get a foot in the door. While we're seeing some correction now, prices are still sky high compared to what average families can comfortably afford. That dream of a little place in the sun? It's priced out of reach for so many teachers, nurses, and small business owners. It's simple math, and the numbers just aren't adding up for everyday folks anymore.
So, what's putting the brakes on the Florida Express? Let me tell you, it's not just one thing, it's a perfect storm of costs. First up, insurance, it's a monster. Homeowners insurance has gone through the roof, if you can even get it. We're talking premiums doubling, tripling in very short periods. And flood insurance? Don't even get me started on that headache. It's another massive bill that families are struggling to pay each and every month. These aren't little bumps in the road. These are budget-busting expenses that are making people think twice, and then think again. It's a real game changer for affordability. Then there are property taxes. Oh boy, your home value goes up and you think, great, I'm building wealth. But then the tax bill arrives and it's a gut punch. Florida doesn't have a state income tax, so they make it up in other ways. And property taxes are a big one. For families already stretched thin by rising home prices and crazy insurance, these escalating tax bills are just another heavy weight to carry. It chips away at any financial breathing room they thought they might have. It's making homeownership a constant, stressful battle.
The allure of the Sunshine State is starting to dim for many hardworking people. They're finding out the sunshine isn't always free, not by a long shot. The dream is becoming a tough reality for many people today.
Florida's always been a hotspot, right? Sunshine, beaches, a fresh start. But guess what? The tide is turning, folks. Fewer U-Hauls are heading down I-95 into the state. And you know what's even more telling? Some folks who chase the dream are packing up and heading out. It's a big shift from just a couple of years ago.
This kind of financial pressure? It's brutal on families, believe me. It's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about real-life stress that impacts daily living. Parents are working extra shifts or picking up second jobs just to keep their heads above water. Family dinners get replaced by quick, cheap meals. Weekend outings, those simple pleasures. Those are a luxury they often can't afford anymore. The dream of a relaxed Florida lifestyle is replaced by constant anxiety about the next bill that's due. It's taking a toll on relationships, on mental health, and on the simple joys of family life.
Let's talk about a family, say the Millers. They moved to Florida for good schools and a better lifestyle, like so many do. Dad's a firefighter, mom's a part-time dental hygienist. They bought a modest 3-bedroom home, nothing too fancy. But now, between the mortgage, soaring insurance, rising property taxes, and that surprise HOA hike, their housing costs are nearly 60% of their take-home pay. They're cutting back on everything, groceries, kids' activities, and forget about saving for college or retirement. The Florida dream feels more like a financial tightrope walk every single month. They're house rich and completely cash poor.
Think the big bills stop with the mortgage, insurance, and taxes. Think again. Homeowner association fees, or HOAs, are another sneaky cost that's hitting hard. What used to be a reasonable fee for keeping the neighborhood nice has exploded in many communities across the state. We're talking hundreds of dollars a month, sometimes even more, just for basic amenities. And then, bam, a special assessment hits you for thousands of dollars because the reserves weren't enough for a new roof or a major community repair. It's unpredictable, and it's putting immense pressure on household budgets. These fees are no longer just pocket change. Keeping your Florida home standing is also getting pricier. With older homes in some areas, repairs are constant. But it's the weather that's the real kicker, isn't it? Hurricanes and tropical storms seem more frequent, more intense than in past decades. That means more roof damage, more water intrusion, more expensive problems all around. And guess what? Your insurance deductible for storm damage can be huge, thousands of dollars out of your own pocket before your coverage even kicks in. So, even if you have insurance, a single storm can still wreck your finances. It's a constant worry.
And think about the schools, a cornerstone of any community. If fewer families with young children are moving in, or if existing families are squeezed out by the cost of living, enrollment numbers can drop. That can lead to school budget cuts, fewer programs for the kids, maybe even school closures in some areas. Good schools are a huge draw for families when they're deciding where to live. If the school system starts to suffer because of these demographic shifts and budget pressures, Florida becomes a much less attractive place to raise kids. It's a domino effect, and it impacts everyone.
This isn't just about money and houses, you know. It's changing the very feel of Florida. This state has always prided itself on being family-friendly. Think about it. Theme parks, great beaches for kids, communities specifically built around families. But if young families can't afford to live here, or if they're forced to leave because of these escalating costs, then the culture starts to shift. You might see fewer kids in the parks, fewer families at local community events. Neighborhoods can start to feel a bit emptier, a bit less vibrant than they once were. It's a subtle change, but it's happening right now.
And let me tell you about the sellers. Many bought when the market was red hot, sometimes paying way over asking price, thinking they'd make a quick buck or build equity fast. Now, they're caught in a tough spot. If they need to sell, they're facing a harsh new reality. They might not get what they paid, especially after factoring in all the selling costs. Some are stuck, unable to move, unable to downsize as they planned. They're frustrated, maybe a little angry at the situation, and definitely anxious about the future. The days of naming your price and watching buyers line up? Those are over for now, folks.
So, what happens when costs get this crazy high? You start seeing for sale signs linger a lot longer than they used to, and more for rent signs too, which tells you something. We're talking rising vacancies, not just in those fancy new condo towers you see on the coast, but in regular, everyday neighborhoods. Homes that would have been snapped up in a week are now sitting on the market for months. Sales are falling through more often too. Buyers get pre-approved for a mortgage, but then the insurance quote comes in, or they add up all the other costs, and they just can't make it work. They walk away, spooked and deeply disappointed. The bottom line? The Florida housing market is going through a serious correction. It had to happen, really. The party got a little too wild for a few years, and now it's cleanup time. Sellers need to adjust their expectations, get realistic about pricing, and be prepared to negotiate like they mean it. For buyers, there might be opportunities if prices continue to soften, but you've got to do your homework on those total costs, especially that tricky insurance. The days of easy money in Florida real estate are on pause. That beautiful Florida sunshine? It's still there, but living under it now comes with a much higher price tag.
But even if home prices fall, there's still that giant alligator in the room: insurance. Florida has got to tackle this insurance crisis head-on and soon. The state needs to find real long-term solutions to stabilize the market, attract more insurers back to Florida, and make coverage truly affordable and accessible for homeowners. Without that critical piece of the puzzle, even a cheaper house is a risky buy. You can't have a healthy housing market when people can't protect their biggest investment, or when the cost of protection itself breaks the bank. This is priority number one.
So, what's the fix for this mess? It's not easy, and there's no magic wand, I can tell you that. Sure, lower interest rates nationally would help ease mortgage payments for many, but we can't control that in Florida. What change here is home prices. Plain and simple, prices in many areas need to come down to earth, back to reality. They need to align with what local workers actually earn. Sellers who are still dreaming of 2021 prices, they need a serious reality check. The market is talking and it's saying prices were too high for too long. Affordability has to return.
Let's talk straight numbers, because numbers don't lie, especially in real estate. You simply cannot spend 60% or 70% of your monthly income on housing. It's just not sustainable in the long run. Financial experts and frankly good old common sense will tell you that housing should be around 30%, maybe 40% at the absolute max of your take-home pay. When you go way past that crucial threshold, you're on thin ice financially. One unexpected car repair, one medical bill, and the whole house of cards can come tumbling down. Families need breathing room in their budget to live, not just exist from paycheck to paycheck.